Xiao Ta hurriedly took out those heavenly treasures of Yi Xian, as well as the medicinal pills that Yang Yanxue had left for Yi Xian. In front of the altar, Yi Xian turned around and looked at the spirit demon ancestor. What did she do wrong? The spirit demon ancestor stared at Yi Xian. It's her honor to be eaten by my spirit demon clan. Yi Xian nodded slightly. Spirit demon clan. I understand. As soon as his voice fell, he vanished on the spot. Boom. He had completely entered a state of madness. At this moment, Yi Xian's aura instantly skyrocketed. Endless killing intent and hostility swept through the entire Lin city. In the distance, the spirit demon ancestor's pupils shrank abruptly. He could smell the scent of death. He couldn't block this sword. That was the only thought in the spirit demon ancestor's mind. However, he didn't sit still and wait for death. He clenched his right hand and punched forward with all his strength. The punch landed directly on Yi Xian's profound azure sword. It was a head-on clash. Yi Xian's profound azure sword pierced through the spirit demon ancestor's right hand without any resistance and pierced his chest along his arm. Boom. The spirit demon ancestor's body shook violently, and his soul swiftly vanished. The spirit demon ancestor stared blankly at Yi Xian, who was inches away from him. Yi Xian slashed with his sword. The spirit demon ancestor's head flew off. The next moment, the profound azure sword in Yi Xian's hand flew out. In the blink of an eye, the heads of the spirit demon clan experts in the field flew off one after another. Instant kill. In a short time, all the spirit demon clan experts in the field were slaughtered. Moreover, all of them were instant kills. No one could withstand a single strike from Yi Xian. However, Yi Xian didn't stop there. He suddenly leaped into the sky, his lips curling into a ferocious smile, and he hurled the sword down with his right hand. The profound azure sword shot down like a meteor, leaving a trail of blood in its wake. In an instant, the entire universe boiled and burned. Bury the spirit demon realm. Below, some of the spirit demon clan experts hiding in the dark were filled with terror. Was this young man going to destroy the entire spirit demon realm? If the sword fell, even if it couldn't bury the spirit demon realm, it would definitely heavily injure it. Right at this moment, one of the sacrificial altars in the distant Lin city trembled slightly. In the next moment, a shadow flashed out from within it, and in the blink of an eye, the shadow had already arrived in the horizon. He suddenly punched out, causing a fist print to sweep up and intercept Yi Xian's sword strike. Boom. That fist print actually blocked Yi Xian's Qingxian sword. In an instant, a terrifying force erupted from the point where the fist and the sword came into contact. This force swept through the entire world like a tidal wave. Boom. Meanwhile, a terrifying aura suddenly shot into the sky from Lin City, and then a middle-aged man walked out slowly into the sky. King Yan. The experts of the spirit demon race exclaimed in secret. King Yan was the leader of the 10 great demon kings. King Yan's wife gazed at Yi Xian. When did a swordsman like you appear in the grand wilderness? Yi Xian opened his palm, and a ray of light descended into his grasp. After the light dispersed, the profound azure sword appeared again. Yi Xian looked down at King Yan with monstrous rage. You hurt my lover, so I'll slaughter all your cities. As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly vanished on the spot. The ray of light shot down like a shooting star. It slashed straight at King Yan. King Yan narrowed his eyes. He opened his palm, and a spear suddenly appeared in his hand. At the same time, a damaged ancient shield appeared in his left hand. Immortal subduing spear. God-burying shield. This was no ordinary item. It was a super divine item of the spirit demon race. King Yan suddenly took a step forward, and the spear in his hand shot out like an arrow, instantly piercing the tip of Yi Xian's profound azure sword. It was a head-on clash. Boom. The moment the spear and sword came into contact, Yi Xian was instantly blasted back into the depths of space, and King Yan also returned to his original spot. When he came to a stop, his expression instantly turned solemn, because his immortal subduing spear had cracked. Cracked. King Yan narrowed his eyes and looked up at the profound azure sword in Yi Xian's hand. What sword is that? How could it crack my immortal subduing spear? His immortal subduing spear had accompanied him in battle for countless years, and it had never cracked. Even Xing Huang, the #1 expert of the Grand Wilderness, had failed to shatter it. But now it had actually cracked. For the first time, King Yan's eyes turned solemn. He stared fixedly at Yi Xian in the depths of space. Fight. As soon as he finished speaking, he clenched the fairy vanquishing spear tightly in his right hand. The fairy vanquishing spear shook violently, and a terrifying battle will swept out of it. In an instant, the battle will disperse Yi Xian's evil aura and murderous intent in the air. The powerful battle intent swept through the cosmos, causing the world to tremble. At the same time, after the powerful battle intent appeared, the cracked immortal subduing spear actually recovered. The battle intent was inextinguishable. The immortal subduing spear was everlasting. The ancient burial shield was everlasting. King Yin stared straight at Yi Xian in space. My spirit demon race has existed for millions of years. How can it be destroyed so easily? With that, he pointed the immortal subduing spear at Yi Xian. Come and fight. We will not rest until death. Come and fight. The two words were like a deafening clap of thunder. In the sky, Yi Xian slowly closed his eyes. Chapter 2192. Deciding life and death with one strike. Qing Er's words echoed in his ears. With this strike, the enemy's life and death are in my hands. If I want them to live, they live. If I want them dead, they die. In the sky, Yi Xian slashed down with his sword, tearing everything apart. Below, Monarch Yen narrowed his eyes. Facing Yi Xian's terrifying strike, there was no fear in his eyes. On the contrary, his fighting spirit intensified. Monarch Yen stomped his right foot and soared into the sky. In an instant, heaven and earth were torn apart. The two clashed head-on. After a moment of silence, boom! Suddenly, a wave of sword light exploded in the sky. In the next moment, a figure plummeted from the sky and smashed into the ground. When he hit the ground collapsed into a bottomless abyss. This person was Monarch Yen. After Monarch Yen crashed into the ground, his body was destroyed and his soul dissipated at a visible speed. The immortal subduing spear in his hand was broken into two. The immortal subduing spear trembled slightly and emitted a mournful hum. Monarch Yen looked at Yi Xian standing in the sky, his eyes filled with confusion. What sword is that? Yi Xian suddenly appeared in front of Monarch Yen. Without a word, he thrust his sword into the space between Monarch Yen's eyebrows. Boom! Monarch Yen's soul trembled violently and then rapidly dissipated. At this moment, the ancient burial shield beside him suddenly trembled violently and smashed toward Yi Xian, protecting its master. Yi Xian turned and slashed. Boom! The ancient burial ground shield shattered, but it wasn't completely broken. It only split into two pieces. There was no divine item under the azure profound sword. At this moment, Yi Xian suddenly turned his head. Not far away to his right, there stood a woman dressed in a black robe. The woman looked a little old and there were some scribbles on her face. She held a dark red walking stick in her hand, which seemed to be condensed from blood. It was extremely alluring. A spirit demon divine master. She held an extremely high position in the spirit demon race. The spirit demon divine master looked at Yi Xian. Who forged that sword of yours? Yi Xian raised his hand and slashed. A sword light slashed straight at divine priest spirit demon. However, just as the sword light arrived, the spirit demon divine master disappeared without a trace. Yi Xian frowned slightly. The spirit demon divine master stared at Yi Xian. This sword is extraordinary and it wasn't forged by a mortal. Yi Xian suddenly disappeared on the spot. The spirit demon priest suddenly waved his right hand. Boom! A wave of sword light shattered, and Yi Xian was instantly knocked back to his original spot. And on his chest there was a blood-red handprint. The spirit demon divine master glared at Yi Xian. I've checked just now. You're not from the great wilderness. Moreover, when he stopped, his chest had split apart. On the other hand, the place where the strand of sword energy stood had become pitch black. Yi Xian was first stunned when he witnessed this scene, and then he turned around and hugged Enlancio, who'd rushed over. He hugged Enlancio and gave her a fierce kiss, and then he roared with laughter. Little An, I'm truly a genius. I'm truly an extraordinary genius. If the Tao of the sword doesn't have me, Yi Xian, then it would be a dark night. Ah! Enlancio gazed at Yi Xian. Why did you kiss me? Yi Xian was stunned and then he said, Did I kiss you? I didn't. Enlancio was speechless.